Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Want to go over just how scripted the year of Boston sports has been, from their rigged World Series to their rigged Super Bowl to their now rigged Stanley Cup appearance. It's undeniable what's going on when you know the code. If you're new here, in July of 2018, long before the World Series was played, I said, if Boston's in the World Series, look for them to win in Game 5. We already know the Patriots are going to win this Super Bowl in this upcoming season. And if the Red Sox win it in Game 5, it'll be a span of 99 days before the Super Bowl to conclude the 99th NFL season. That's exactly what happened. And now I'm going to show you how this ongoing riddle factors into the Boston Bruins, the third Boston team to appear in a championship in the past year. So, the 2018 World Series was the 114th World Series all time. The MVP was Steve Pearce, and the name Pierce equals 114, not by accident. As we talked about before the World Series was even played, from the Boston Marathon bombing hoax, which it absolutely was, to the start of the World Series last year, which was October 23rd. It went from the dates October 23rd through the 28th. From the start date of the World Series back to the Boston Marathon bombing was a span of 2018 days, like how it was the 2018 World Series. And again, it was the 114th World Series. Look at how Boston Marathon bombing equals 114. Sports and news always sync together, and Boston fans should know this best. After the 9/11 false flag and the Patriot Act, you had the emergence of Tom Brady and the Patriots, only after a New York Jet sacked Drew Bledsoe. So, the World Series concluded October 28th, Game 5. I still have my videos up, you can go back and listen to the TFR shows from July. But we said, just look for this. Red Sox in the World Series, win it in Game 5. It'll be synced up with the Patriots rigged Super Bowl. And by the way, in that offseason, the week before the NFL season began, if you're on my Patreon, I said I'd put in a future on the Patriots beating the Rams in a rematch of 17 years ago. Exactly what happened. Just like how the World Series was Patriots or Boston and Los Angeles. The Super Bowl was Boston and Los Angeles. Now notice the Stanley Cup's going to be against St. Louis, the old home of the Rams. But look at that. Just from the Super Bowl to Game 5, 99 days. New England equals 99. Notice the 3 months and 7 days. Los Angeles is 37. Patriots is also 37. But 99 days. The word Patriot, the singular, is 99. The Red Sox won the series 4-1, and that was another important point that we made because Super Bowl equals 41. Tom Brady was 41 years old. Game 5 equals 41. On my sports channel from before Game 5 was played, I said, here we are. Look for Chris Sale to close it out today, number 41. Sure enough, he did. We talked about this last year, how Boston Red Sox equals 53, Patriots 53, Los Angeles 53. Again, you got to know your ciphers. Notice when you type out Los Angeles, 37 with the reduction cipher, 53 with the reverse. Same thing with Patriots, 37-53. The first Super Bowl between the two teams, the Patriots won 20-17, 37 points. Then 17 years later, they rematch. It was the Patriots' 59th season, the 17th prime, yada, yada, yada. So look at all these 53s. Boston Red Sox, Patriots, Los Angeles. Boston, LA, World Series, and Super Bowl. And now you get the Stanley Cup, and Stanley Cup's 53. And it's Boston versus St. Louis. Again, the old home of the Rams. How perfect, right? And then here's the kicker. The Stanley Cup begins May 27th, the 147th day of the year. If you write out World Series, it equals 147. And look at this. From the Super Bowl to the start of the Stanley Cup is 114 days. Just like how we had Boston beginning this year of championships in the 114th World Series. Could it get any better? Here's how sick it is. Throughout the playoffs, they've been showing this girl on the screen, the big the big St. Louis Blues fan. Supposedly she's suffering from HLH. And actually, let me get this story up here before I go on to this sign. So her name's Layla Anderson. She's suffering from HLH. She wants to see the Blues win it all. Look at the name Layla Anderson, 53, HLH 53, Stanley Cup 53. Did you guys see that yesterday in the headlines there was the death of Jake Black, the man who was from the band Alabama 3 that did the theme song for The Sopranos? And in the reporting about him, they mentioned that the last album he released was Blues, and he died the day the Blues advanced to the Stanley Cup. By the way, Blues equals 59. The Patriots just won the Super Bowl in their 59th season. Anyhow, you have these 53s encoded, right? And then look at this sign she's been holding up. I'm here, boys. Let's do this, Layla. I'm here, boys. Let's do this, Layla. 114. And what is it when you flip the alphabetic order around? 147. I mean, isn't it sick? And they do this stuff for all the sports. They always bring in these sick children that have the perfect names that correspond with the rigging. Understand how this is done. Masonry runs the whole show. They control your government, your media, your police, your hospitals. Look at the history of hospitals. A lot of them come out of Yale. A lot of the hospitals in this nation are connected to Yale. And Yale has Skull and Bones, which identifies by 322. By the way, if the Bruins win the playoffs, if they win the Stanley Cup, they'll have 322 playoff wins all time. Walter Camp, who's credited with American football, went to Yale. But anyway, the point is the Masons control everything. And this is their code of letters and numbers. So imagine if you have a database of children in the St. Louis area, and you just run like a little search, and you're like, oh, Layla. Oh, Layla's got the perfect numbers. Let's go talk to Layla. Let's see if Layla wants to go to a game and hold a sign. Here, we'll make the sign for her. Layla, here, hold up this sign right here. I'm here, boys. Let's do this. Love, Layla. This is exactly what they do season after season, sport after sport, the same repetitive rituals. And people keep going, oh, I just think it's another coincidence. It's like, come on. Are you serious? Are you serious? And by the way, the Blues and the Bruins played in the Stanley Cup 49 years ago. Blues equals 49, as does Super Bowl, as does NFL. Again, these are all ongoing riddles. It's Boston's 94th season. When you write out 94, it equals 147. So they couldn't have scripted it any better. They sure are good at this. And if you're out there and you don't think the Boston Marathon bombing is a hoax, you must be blind. You know, all of this stuff is a mockery. Professional sports, a mockery. You know, you got to be dumb to not see that they're rigged. Period. End of discussion. You got to be dumb. Nothing more to say. The only people who believe that pro sports are legit are very dumb people. Just like the only people who don't know the Boston Marathon bombing is a hoax are very dumb people. I mean, all the evidence was put out in the world to show what a hoax it was. A complete embarrassment. And just understand, the same people responsible for all of this. The people that work by this code every single day. The Masons in high places. And no, I'm not blaming every Freemason. Most low-level Freemasons don't have a clue. I'm talking about the ones who own sports teams, who own news networks, who are in public office, etc., etc. Until next time.